I have a fair number of friends in the nonprofit world, and while they believe deeply in the work they do, it can also lead to a lot of burnout.
That's
The
right.
work is long, hard, many hours, and sometimes seemingly insurmountable in the
Yeah.
face of so much difficulty and poverty worldwide.
Yeah.
How do you go about keeping your teams motivated and engaged to do this work?
The and it's a two-part response, and I'll start with, well, yes, burnout is very real, right? So don't get weary of doing good. I mean, that's one of the things, is how do you pace yourself, so you don't get burnt out. And I think as a leader, it's very important for any leader and any organized effort to watch out for his the people the group that he's with, to make sure we don't get burnt out. And how do you do that? Well, you pause for breaks, you pause for celebrations, right? You pause for quick wins, even in the middle of fierce, if you will, battles, if you are. Take time for each other.
Because it can be easy to forget what you did accomplish
Oh,
because you're only
absolutely.
looking at how much more needs to be done.
Done. Yep.
So you're right. I absolutely agree. And
Yeah.
stopping and saying, you know what, that thing we did yesterday, that was pretty
That was
awesome.
pretty awesome. Yeah, I'll tell you a story. I was in a. This is in a. It was a very extreme situation. We were in the middle of a massive refugee camp. About a couple of 100,000 people in Darfur, in Sudan, at the time that crisis was at its peak, and it was a terrible place to be. It was a terrible place. You were seeing the impact of man on man, how much damage and how much hurt we can cause, and mostly it is on the littlest and the weakest people, right? So you're seeing that. And we would come back in the evening to our little campsite where our staff was, and we were gathered. And I still remember every evening, right, there was a couple of the ladies who would come and then cook for us. And we would then sit there, and we'd be singing and we'd be dancing and we'd be eating. And you would think these guys were in the middle of, Manhattan or Silicon Valley, having the time of their lives. Well, we knew next morning when we were going to get up and go out back into the camp, what we were going to be faced with was blood and tears, right? Broken lives, who we are trying to put together. But we'd come back, and every evening, and I remember I was still learning the ropes of my work, was our team leader's absolute requirement. When you come into our campsite, you leave the world behind.